Andersen, and it is my joy on this cold winter morning to say thank you for sharing your energy with us through the airwaves, through whatever you want to call it, your consciousness. And we're going to do a short guided meditation now to begin our morning. So please relax wherever you are, maybe with a cup of coffee on the table in front of you or on something beside you. But simply breathe into this moment. Maybe repeating to yourself, as I do for myself, I breathe, I relax, I am. And with each repetition, I feel the muscles in my shoulders relaxing, the muscles in my neck relaxing. I breathe. I relax. I am. I breathe. I relax. I am. I breathe. I relax. I am. And the I am that I choose to be this morning is an I am that knows its spiritual reality. This I am knows that the minus 40 degrees is simply a condition. This I am also knows that there are people who are suffering. And I speak a word for them. Let everyone be comforted. Let everyone be sheltered. Let everyone know that they are loved, that they are important enough to find a safe place to be in mind and body. They already have a safe place to be in their spirit. And I choose to know that all who require sheltering are sheltered, that all who require food are fed, that all who require love are loved. I choose to embrace my world, my family of beings, which stretches around the world. One family, one race, one entity, embraced in and by the all that is. I choose to be a part of that, to reach out. I might think of someone and think maybe I should give them a call. Oh well, I'll do it when this program is over. I remind myself, do it now. If you are thinking of them, it might mean they need a word from you. It might mean they need to know that someone is thinking of them. And so I say to you, whoever you are and wherever you are, I hold you in my thoughts, that if you are living and moving and breathing on this planet, you are my brother, you are my sister. I hold you in my thoughts as precious, as priceless. And I know that your well-being is my well-being. That my well-being in some way is yours. So this is the day that I choose to make a difference in someone's life. Maybe in more than one someone's life. Because I am the only me in my I am. I embrace the love of God, the love that God is. Not that God is loving, but that God is love. All the love there is. All of the wisdom there is. All of the warmth and the joy and the life. I acknowledge that as I know God as all that is, and I know God to be possessed, not to have possession of, but to be all of those things, love and joy and wisdom, all other things that I could dream of or wish for, God is. And as God is all, then I am some part of that all. I partake of the wholeness of that all and express it to the extent that I permit that to happen through me. And to do that, I am required to know the truth of myself, to know myself as spirit, as one with the Spirit. At the center of my being, that is the entire truth, the wholeness of it. And as I embrace that truth, as I make a choice on this morning and on every morning to live from that truth, then life takes on a greater warmth, a greater joy, greater well-being, greater abundance. For the truth is that God is. God at the center of everything. God as the circumference of everything. God as everything within that circumference. And that circumferences all, everything from since before time began into infinity. All of the expanses of this universe as we know it, and other universes that we know not of, the multiverse. All theirs, and yet so much at the command of the single individual, available through our thought and through our feelings to own our oneness with it all, to own the vastness and the allness, all of the wisdom and all of the love, all of the joy, all of the well-being. We know it, and the universe serves it. And by universe, I don't mean the physical universe. I mean the heart and the mind and the soul of the everyverse. My thought and my words act upon a vast powerhouse, a vast supply house, and brings to me a physical experience, a physical embodiment in some way, in my experience, an outpicturing of my dominant state of feelings and thoughts. And today I choose to let my thoughts be of loving, of sharing, of caring about those in need, caring about those who are cold, caring about those who need a word of support, of love, of kindness. I choose this day to know that I am my brother's keeper and my sister's keeper, the keeper of life on this planet has been entrusted into my keeping. And as I speak in the I am, these words are yours as you embrace them. I am the keeper of the integrity of my world. I am the keeper of life. I am the keeper of truth, of health, of abundance. I am all this because I am of God Himself. I am of Spirit. It's the truth of me, larger and brighter than any physical body can incorporate. But still it is all there within me as a spark. It's a spark of light, of life. A spark of the divine, ready to be ignited, to be permitted to spread out from this physical body and this mind that I call mine into the vastness and the wholeness of the universe, to bring light where there was darkness, to bring light, to aid those who are in that darkness. When Jesus said, I am the light of the world, He spoke truth. But you too are the light of the world. I too am the light of the world. For any one of us who is aware, who is conscious of the divine of us, truly is a light. And to the extent that we permit that light to shine forth from our being, we do enlighten the darkness. We do warm our world of being. We do lighten the load of humanity. We do our duty by the earth and our fellow man and our fellow creatures. I am the keeper of my world. I am the light of my world. This is the truth of each one of us. And so I say, as I have said so many times, that locks it into my being, I am that which thou art. Thou art that which I am. I am that which thou art. Thou art that which I am, and so it is.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Tress Phillips, and I really had fun just playing the bowls for you. If you heard them, I hope you appreciated them. The different sounds and the emotions that are involved in it, and the different levels of relaxation and consciousness. They're all available to us. Relax and let go. So today is Sunday. It's February the 7th, 2021. And actually today's special. Happy birthday to whomsoever birthday it is. I have no idea, but it's special because it's pretty cold here. And we get to do our happy dance. And we get to do our happy dance because we are the ones that can tell our grandchildren and great-grandchildren, we remember when it was, and fill in the blank, so cold out. We have experienced it, and we know that life continues, and the joy continues, and that nothing can stop within us what's there. Those of you who really are crafty, we can make t-shirts that say, I lived through whatever it was on February 7th, 2021. Or the hats. Part of our creativity. Part of the joy of living today. In Red Deer, Alberta, Canada, February 7th, 2021. So welcome. You're special, you know that? And I'm glad you joined us for our celebration service of love and light. I know the children aren't here today, and I really miss them because I love the children because they're the future of our church. And the youth, oh my goodness, they are extremely important. But they're not here, but we do have special words for them. So our special words for the children and the youth are letting go. And the actual irony of that is it actually, for adults, letting go. Think of those two words. So what we have written down today in the words of wisdom are, we are always moving through change in our lives. Just as we grow out of our clothes, we must pass them on and replace them with new ones that fit. When we surrender to change, we must make room for new good coming in our life. Are you ready for new good? Well, I'm sure Reverend Judy's going to discuss that in her talk this morning. But we have an affirmation, and it is, I surrender to change and make room to grow. So are we making room to grow? We'll see what Reverend Judy speaks to us about and really helps us with today. Now, we did have some upcoming events listed. The bingo will not be on, and the casino, I imagine, will not be on because our hospitalization rates have to be 300 before they can happen, and they are quite a bit higher than that, so they will not be on as far as I know. Now, we do have our affirmations, so I would like you to join with me in our opening February affirmation. It is on our pink sheet, but it is also in our email that we sent out, so please repeat with me. I move forward with loving thoughts, loving acts, blessing every step of the journey. My dominant emotions are those of joy and gratitude. And I'm reading the wrong one, but I'm so excited about being thankful for today. Okay, it is, thank heavens I'm the clown of the group, hey? It's me. Trusting I awake to a new, fuller idea of love. Life lives as me, walks as me, and talks as me. Every moment is filled with its presence. Simply I am in love with my world and consciously embrace love as a way of being. I love life and life loves me, and so it is. And it is such a wonderful thing to be able to introduce Reverend Judy Andersen. Our February theme is One Journey and Many Paths, and today's talk title is A Clean Slate. So Reverend Judy, please start us off with a clean slate. Thank you so much.
All right. These things become a little bit trying sometimes to handle them, and I'm talking about our electronic gadgets. But we have a cure for those, and we have a cure for anything we need. And that cure is what we call spiritual mind treatment. We have a cure for a mask too. We get to take it off once we're up here. So let's just take a few moments for an opening treatment and know that there is a power for good in the universe. It is greater than I am. It is greater than all of the beings on earth, for it is more than the universe itself. It encompasses everything, and all power is in it. And we have been granted the right to use it. And the way we use it is through our thoughts, through our feelings, through our words. And today, I choose how I shall think. I choose my thoughts. I choose to be joyous and loving and kind and inclusive. I choose that in this month of February, the month of love. And I know that love radiates from our center of spiritual living Red Deer to embrace our world, to embrace every person who tunes in to be with us in our virtual reality. I know that this center is a force for good in our universe. And I embrace it, I honor it, I love it, and I let these words find their way into that law we call the law of mind, where it is acted upon by a force that can never say no, that must simply grow the ideas and the thoughts that are planted in it. So lovingly, with gratitude, I release those words of peace, of inclusion, of love and of joy, and so it is. So, the talk today is called A Clean Slate. And while I was thinking about it, I thought I went back to things like the movie of Anne of Green Gables, the TV things, and of how in their school they had slates that they wrote on. They didn't have foolscap pads and they didn't have loose leaf binders. They had slates that were made of, guess what, slate. And they wrote on those. They were something like our current chalkboards. And I have, courtesy of Amazon, I've got a little slate, and I can draw on it. And you know what? I can write 12 plus 13 equals 26. Oops, that's a mistake. I made a mistake. Do I have to live with that mistake forever and ever and blame myself 60 years down the road because I made a mistake in writing on my slate? I don't think so. I press this button again and that mistake is gone. Now, how real is that? Now, what happens if I draw a heart on my slate? It's not a very well drawn heart, but it's still a heart. It still represents love. My slate is now better than clean because it's now embracing love. And what I'm going to need to know next is who has a little grandchild or a child that might enjoy playing with this slate, because I'm not going to need it tomorrow. I needed it for today. Any takers? I think so. So, what do you still have written on your slate that you're still blaming yourself for? You know what? I'm still blaming myself for a mistake I made when I worked at the University of Calgary back between 1961 and 1973. I made a mistake when I was in charge of student programs in a faculty of the university. I'm still blaming myself for that to some extent. Isn't that ridiculous? And it still makes me feel bad when I think of it. I don't mind remembering it. That happened, and the next time I can be more careful. But what are you keeping from your past that still makes you feel awful when you remember it, or makes you feel guilty or ashamed? Are there things like that in your past? I expect there are. There are for all of us. What would it feel like if somebody told you, pick up your slate and press the delete button? Press that button and let go of it. This is what we need to do in our lives. I can go back to to my earliest memories. Oh, did I tell a fib? When did I blame my brother for doing this when I really did it? When did I do such and such? When did I stay out after dark and my mom paddled me? The last time she ever did, but it wasn't very hard, wasn't hard enough to make an impression. But what have I done? By the way, I'm not blaming myself for that one. I feel warm when I think of it, of my mother and how she hated to punish us at all. But she was trying to keep us safe. But what are you punishing yourself for in your thoughts or in your everyday life? It's sort of like going through life. If you're carrying a load of blame and shame, how would you feel if you went through life with one arm permanently strapped behind your back and you could never use it? It is so limiting. Because what is the truth of you? You're a human being. I'm a human being. We make mistakes. Mistakes can be fixed. You can press the delete button. And I've got a whole lot of material that goes into a fair amount of depth about how we can do this in a spiritual way. But do we have a one button that we can use? Some of us can use one button and say, I forgive myself because I did that. I forgive, I let it go. I am whole, I am all right. I release any shame, blame, or guilt attached to that particular occurrence. It's done. It's a little more cumbersome than just pressing a button. Other people I know decide it's going to be, I can do it, but it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be my swear word, struggle. Have you heard people say, oh, well, I'll get there, but it's going to be a struggle? Do you stop? Do you say smack? That is not the approach to use. Why are you affirming that it's going to be a struggle to set yourself free of those old beliefs? Wouldn't you rather say, hey, I've got this? I understand now. I understand when I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm not feeling very good and my mind starts going over everything I've ever blamed myself for or other people have blamed me for. And I start reviewing those in my head and what I could have done differently. Again, smack. Instead, I release and I let go. I let the healing power of love into my life. Sing, that is really a song. I bet Reverend Joanne, when she comes up to do the closing, do you know that one? Would you sing it for us at the closing? I release and I let go. Because that is so important. Would you like to be able to start every morning when you bounce out of bed? Well, some of us bounce, some of us crawl, some of us kind of stagger. But when you get out of bed, let's say maybe with your first cup of coffee or tea or whatever it is you drink in the morning, and say, today I start with a clean slate. press that button. I release and I let go. I let the healing power of love into my life. We can take a quote from Meister Eckhart, who lived, I think, in the 1500s or 1600s, back there somewhere, a brilliant man. He said, "Be willing to be a beginner every single morning." It makes me chuckle. Here I am at 80 years old, but I can say in the morning, I choose to be a beginner today. And then you look at what is possible. If I'm a beginner, everything is possible. I can learn and I can do and I can share and I can embrace the habits and the way of being that I have always thought I would like to be and do and have. Today is a new day and I'm a beginner. Anything I want, I can reach for. The universe isn't going to say no to me. I might say no to myself. I might say, but this knee hurts, and my back is stiff today, and I can't do what I used to be able to do. Is that starting as a beginner today? It's not the way to go at it. This morning, today, I am willing to be a beginner. Start fresh. And I'll follow up with this other quotation I really want to share with you, or I'll forget to do it. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, "Finish each day and be done with it." You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. And when you wake up tomorrow, you're a beginner again. You've pressed the button on your slate. It's clean. I can't stress this enough. It's your right to erase that in your past, not the events. You can remember the events, but you can erase the shame and the blame and the guilt that are tying one arm behind your back, that are crippling you to experience today as a beginner. Can you do that? Are you willing to give yourself that gift of being freed of those old, heavy, stinky ideas of blame, shame, and guilt that never should have belonged to you? You know, when a child carries those things, and they say the average 4-year-old gets around 400 negative messages a day. What a load for a little guy or a little girl to carry around. And how many of those stay with him or her as shame, blame, and guilt? Somebody needs to give that child one of these and tell them, you're wonderful. You've made mistakes, so have I. 12 and 13 don't equal 26, in case nobody told you that. You can make mistakes, and you can say, all right, I learned from that, and I move on. You can say, I made this decision in the past, and I'm afraid it hurt my friend when I did that or when I said that. And I can either carry that blame and shame with me for the rest of my life, or I can say, yes, I made a mistake. It's time to let go of the blame around it and simply take the learning forward. I can erase that feeling. And with every one of those feelings, it's like dropping bricks from a load that you're carrying. Every one of those you can work with and dispose of. How do you want to meet February 14th, Valentine's Day, when you look in the mirror? Can you draw a heart on your slate? Sure you can. It might be a funny shape, but you can draw a heart on your slate You can draw a heart on your bathroom mirror. You can look in that mirror and say, I love you. Yes, you've made mistakes, but let the past stay in the past. Today, you're a beginner. You start fresh. Nobody's going to blame you now. Well, nobody else is. You might. You might blame yourself, but it's time to quit doing that. Do what you can to remedy whatever you did and move on. Would anyone not want to start each day with a clean slate? To me, that title was so meaningful that every day of your life, from day one to year 80 plus, to 90 plus, to 100, every day should be free of the shame, blame, and guilt. Every day you should be a beginner. Every day your slate should be sparkling clean and fresh. I know when I was in school and we were called to write on the blackboard an arithmetic problem or something like that, and how exciting it was if that board was totally fresh and clean, like the beginning of the year, and the boards had been washed and there was no old chalk on them, and you'd pick up a piece of chalk on that clean board and you would write so carefully your numbers so that they would look nice on this fresh slate. We can do that today with our life. We've erased our mistake, and we have a clean slate to write on, and it can be thoughts of love and appreciation, first of all for ourselves, simply for being, simply for breathing. Somewhere in our science of mind it says you don't have to earn your right to be, and you don't have to earn your right to happiness, and you don't have to prove yourself worthy of life or of living or of abundance or of love. You deserve it simply because you are. This is why when I use I am so much in a meditation, it's acknowledging that I am, and I see the am in capitals. I am, because it stands for I am of the life and the vision and the wholeness and the vastness of God himself. I am. And out of that I am, great things can happen. Beautiful things can unfold. My 81st year and my 82nd year can be even more beautiful than my 23rd and my 24th year. It's so simple. And it doesn't have to be that S word, that swear word, that has a couple G's in it. It's kind of an ugly sound too, isn't it? So if you think this is magic, the way it used to be when we had the original, I don't know if they were Etch-a-Sketch, but the little things you could draw on and lift the flap and it would disappear. If you can do a meditation like that, hey, let's do it right now. Let's do a little meditation. Okay. I breathe, I relax, I am. And in that I am, I draw forth my history. I look at the book of my life and I do a fast search for feelings of shame and blame and guilt. And I take a look at them. And I might look at them one by one, but for the purpose of this meditation, we will treat them as a whole. And I might say, to the shame and the blame and the guilt that I have carried, for all these days of my life, I say to you now, you are the result of a mistake. Sometimes you are simply the result of someone else's opinion. Sometimes they are the result of something that afterwards you wish you had done differently. But whatever, that is history. And today we're sliding into the mystery of freedom. Say to yourself, I retain the memory of the events. I release any shame around it. And take up your slate and your imagination and write on it. I release any shame, blame, or guilt around this event. I release them, I erase them into the nothingness. And in their place on my slate, I draw a beautiful heart, because that is the truth of who I am. I am love, and I am joy, and I am wisdom, because I am one with God, one in God, with all of the beauty and all of the wisdom and all the love that God is within my own being. And so I release and I let go and let the healing power of love into my life. And so it is. And so if you choose to do that with every one of these memories that carries some negative emotion with it, please set yourself free so you can start the rest of today as a beginner, and you can wake up tomorrow as a beginner, knowing that your natural way of being should be an uprush of joy, of simply breathing, looking around you, looking into loving faces, even if it has to be on Facebook. So please honor yourself and honor your world, and do your part in our world by being guilt-free, shame-free, and blame-free. And we'll get rid of that for the moment. Stand up in your beautiful colors, in your beautiful, most beautiful raiment. It's why I wore this particular little cover-up today, because it represents to me resurrection and beauty and sparkle and shine. Because I want everyone who is listening, I want every one of us to have a brilliant, bright, not carefree, because caring is enough to give us a little bit of weight, but to have a life that is free of something which is easy to, well, yes, it can be easy to free ourselves of. Just do it. It doesn't have to be the S word again. It can be a different S word. Simple. Do your meditation. Pick up your imaginary slate. Look at the words on it and the feelings, and press the delete button, or lift the cellophane flap, or whatever you need to do to erase that slate. And I do have a little affirmation back here somewhere on one of my pieces of paper. My last words are, gently but firmly, I release anything that makes me feel less than worthy. Joyfully, I affirm that all is well in my world. I deserve it. I claim it. I am it. Would you like to say that with me? Gently but firmly, I release anything that makes me feel less than worthy. Joyfully, I affirm that all is well in my world. I deserve it. I claim it. I am it. And so it is. And I'll ask Reverend Joanne to come and do our closing.
I release the past and allow the healing power of love into my life. I release the past and allow the healing power of love into my life. What a great chant. And Reverend Judy alluded to 2 different release songs. So the first one is, I release the past and allow the healing power of love into my life. And she also alluded to one called, I release and I let go. And I love that too. And it goes, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. What a great analogy to clean the slate. So I am going to flip this page and find the closing affirmation. And if you could, oh yeah, I can't do it yet because I have to do the prosperity affirmation. And, I just challenge you to give with love. And I saw this affirmation that some of the centers use, and I really like it. And it says, I give with love because I love to give. So at any time, whether you're paying for your groceries or sending us a lovely check or going online and donating to us through whatever means works for you, just keep that in your heart. I give with love because I love to give. So I will read our prosperity affirmation, and if you have it at home, read it with me as the ministers here will read, and Russell too. I am learning to give joyously, unconditionally of myself, my time, my love, and my wealth. As I do, I prosper in every way. My life is enriched in everything that matters. My relationships prosper. My financial affairs prosper. My health and creativity prosper. And so it is. And then we'll move into our closing affirmation. I move forward with loving thoughts and loving acts, blessing every step of the journey. My dominant emotions are those of joy and gratitude, and they guide me in the ways of righteousness. Love is the nature of my journey. Law is the way. I embrace all, and so it is. I'm Reverend Joanne, and I thank you so much for tuning in today to CSL Red Deer. And I just want to remind you to be peaceful, to be loving, to be warm, to just be. Thank you. Have a beautiful week. Bye.